Hello, we are Just a Tech. This is Jason, I'm Toyam, this is Young, Andy, and Sam. We all know the statistics, 40,000 people dead at the end of a gun in 2017, 30,000 in previous years. Of those numbers, about 1,000 are killed by law enforcement officers in the line of duty. We think that those numbers can be lower. Police officers have at their disposal a variety of tools. They've got shotguns, they've got handguns, and one of these tools, the shotgun, is a particularly versatile device. If the first couple rounds of the shotgun are non-lethal rounds or less lethal instead of lethal, we think that some of those deaths can be avoided and lives can be saved. So what we've come up with is essentially a stun gun in a gun. We put a stun gun inside a traditional 12-gauge shotgun shell with the goal of you would fire this into a presumed suspect, and they would end up with muscular shutdown instead of an end of their life. Our design is a tried and true stun gun block diagram. You've got power, you oscillate to some frequency because it turns out AC is required to cause interruptions to the human muscular system. And then we step that up. We step that up a lot, and then we deliver it to the individual at the end. Part of the challenge for here was to make this much smaller than traditional stun guns, because a module about yay big won't exactly fit inside a 12-gauge shot. But that turns out to be mostly ameliorated by our team. We believe that this technique will save a lot of lives by giving police officers an alternative instead of just only one alternative. They'll have multiple alternatives to prevent lives. Our simulations and our prototyping stage have been very fruitful, and we think that we will, by the end of the second semester, be able to deliver a prototype to our sponsor. We'd like to give our thanks to Dr. Akina and our sponsor, and our corporate mentor, Corwin Davis.
So which one of you was on the receiving end of this test?
Yeah. He was.
How do you prime it? I mean, like a policeman will typically keep a shotgun somewhere in the car. He's got to have the wherewithal to figure out if he needs it or not. So he's got to get it and take it with him. Around here, they usually use beanbags now, sometimes, and those probably hurt pretty bad. But the thing is, to keep this cap charged, I mean, you've got to get it primed, and it's only going to last so long with that little 1632 battery.
Fortunately, we're not using a cap or primer. We're just using the battery. Instead, we are physically breaking the circuit by means of a small string that is attached to the edge of the shotgun shell. When the payload is fired, that string will come free, and then the circuit will begin its work. It only has to survive for 5 seconds, so that little battery is more than adequate.
So you're saying to charge up to this amount of voltage that you need, it's only going to take a few milliseconds?
Yes.
It takes about 5 milliseconds to charge up, and it's pulsed, so it's like, for those 5 seconds, it's 30 hertz, and it's just continuous pulses. And it takes 5 milliseconds to charge up, and there's 30 milliseconds between the pulses.
Have you seen that yet? Have you done that? That's pretty good. I'm surprised.
What's the amount of voltage?
We're shooting for 1,000 volts, but we're doing some research.
Our research indicates that we can do with much less than advertised voltages, but we think we can do quite high voltage.
Do you have to penetrate the skin to work, or can
Yeah,
you
good
touch
question.
clothes?
Yes, this side here, there's some barbs that will be attached to the end of the bullet here. So that will go through the clothing and then into your skin.
Is there anything in your design criteria that talks about surviving the high Gs of the initial acceleration?
Exactly.
So currently we are not, that's outside of our scope. Our sponsor is going to be in charge of the bullet and propelling and how far it's going to go. So that'll be.
But we're using solid state devices, and if they need to be made more rugged, then they can be swapped out by our
It's not the
sponsor.
devices you need to be concerned
you make
about, it's
sure
the connections between them.
How do you make sure this doesn't get confused with the real bullet?
we are gonna be it's gonna be a colorful bullet. So
Color
Yeah,
coded.
different colored
Yeah,
bullet.
The mechanical is still the same, right?
Mechanically, it looks the same, but it's going to be color coded differently.
Especially if ducks are fat, you'd be in big trouble.
You'd only ever point a gun at somebody if you were prepared to end their life, and this hopefully would give a chance to be prepared to end somebody's life and then not, but still end a situation.
Thank you.